If you walk into me, then it's your own fault.
Superheroes. They are some of the most popular media in the world. We all know legendary characters such as Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Stardust the Super Wizard, Laser Prime, and the Lightbringer. I mean, they're everywhere, and sure, in the past few years, superhero media has been declining more and more in quality and hasn't shown a lot of signs of improving, and arguably their maddening success coupled with their fans who would never pick up another comic in their life has resulted in awful trends both in the American comic and film industry in the past few years. Okay, so you could probably tell by the tone of my voice that I'm more burnt out than a California forest. Too soon, man. When is it ever not too soon in this state? And it's gotten to the point where I just have no interest in superhero media as of late, especially from the big two. I heard Creatures Commandos is an alright show. I'm good. I've heard Marvel Rivals is a good game. I'm good. I saw the clips from that new Spider-Man show. It looks like unfiltered dog anus and worse than CGI from the mid-90s. I don't hate superhero media. There are actually a number of shows and movies I do really like, but I'm just really not interested at this point. Maybe that'll change in a few years' time. Maybe those Superman and Fantastic Four films will be good. But for now, I'm just not interested. But I'll tell you what, superhero toys, I'm even less interested in. God, I am just the happiest fella today, aren't I? I don't know why, but most superhero toys just don't really interest me. And they didn't really interest me as a kid either. Oh, except for that magnetic Spider-Man Toy Biz did back in the day. That thing was, I have no idea why. I love a good action figure, but anytime I see a Marvel Legends figure, I just go, wow, that sure is a character I recognize. There's something I find weirdly generic about them. It's hard to put into words. It's not like Funko Pops where I actively hate. It's purely a personal reason. I wish I could put it into words more, but it's simple as that. I find them questionably dull. And as a toy collector, I probably should have a little more interest in them. Because superhero toys have existed for a long time, with action figures starting early in the 1970s with Mego's World's Greatest Superhero Toys, featuring all your favorite characters like Spider-Man, Superman, and
the Falcon, that great black superhero.
Hey, it's awkward now, but it's genuinely pretty cool they hyped up a black character back then. Even if his hands were rather unfortunately recycled from Mego's Planet of the Apes dolls, hence his hairy palms. That or he needs to stop masturbating. But come the end of the 70s and into the early 80s, tastes changed with action figures. It went from dolls with cloth clothes to fully plastic figures around 3 3/4 inches. And given Mego had went bust due to a combination of bad investments, bad management, and rats, it was up to Kenner, and the result was their Super Powers collection of DC Comics figures. A very popular toy line that lasted a whole whopping 2 years. More on that later. And for today's video, I have brought to us Darkseid, in honor of the last superhero movie I gave a bat's ass about with the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Christ, that was 8 years ago!
Hey, sorry for the interruption, but have you subscribed yet? Well, why not? Because not everyone who watches this video may be subscribed. I upload new videos weekly alongside other shorts and live streams, so hit subscribe and hit the bell for updates on new videos. Once I hit 7,500 subscribers, I'm planning a big retrospective on Metroplex, so that's something to get excited for. Also, consider becoming a channel member. Your financial support goes into making these videos and would be a massive help. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
And look, I kind of feel like Zack Snyder gets an unfair rap these days. Like, dude gets more hate than Michael Bay, surprisingly, which I always feel like it was a bit overblown. Crazy fan wars aside, I actually did really enjoy the full uncut movie. Is it my favorite superhero movie ever? I don't know. Stonewall and Riot: The Ultimate Orgasm is a hard piece of art to top. But it's shot incredibly well. All the drama that was missing from the Whedon cut was restored. Really showed there was a lot of potential for Snyder's vision that got ruined by a lot of executive mandate. And of course, it had Darkseid, who... Look, Thanos is neat and all, but...
We will stop at nothing to possess it.
Just take me, you big lump of gray flesh! Figure itself for the time is a pretty good sculpt. Remember, at this time, the most popular figures around were still the Star Wars style of figures, so the level of detail here is way beyond those. And the colors are very simple, but do give off an old school comic vibe. It even comes with an old school comic, which only adds to the effect. A simple addition, but goes a long way for this figure, and I'm a sucker for this style of coloring and shading. Holy smokes, it's Darkseid! Holy smokes, it's Space Hitler! The texture work on his skin is actually a really nice touch for the time as well, giving off that unique stony but also scaly look Darkseid had, with a great I don't care face on him, which works. Darkseid as a character is all about being in control. He's not one for evil laughs. His moods are grumpy and very grumpy. What helps that effect is that he's packing some light piping on the top of his head, allowing for some piercing red eyes. Hands are interestingly one open hand and a closed fist. You'd think the hand being open would be for some kind of weapon, but he doesn't come with one, unless you count the comic. I know Darkseid's all about using mind control through a mathematical equation, but even in the comics he used the occasional gun or something. But he does come with this cloth cape, which I'm not really a fan of. It's not supposed to tab in, so it looks like it's always broken, and cloth accessories on plastic action figures are really hard to get just right. Not helping is whoever I got this from appeared to have wiped their ass with it. Ew. I think honestly the best accessory this figure has are the royalties that Jack Kirby got for it, with one of the only times Jack ever received royalties for his creations. And now I feel sad. Ah well, there's at least something cool that Darkseid has. A gimmick! Now, as we've seen before on my show, gimmicks have to be done just right, otherwise they completely mess up the figure's design. Super Powers Collection was all about more simple gimmicks that were hidden inside the figures, which is why there's no visible switch or button like some other figures might have. You squeeze his left leg and Darkseid raises his arms and slams them down. Simple, but pretty cool. I like how you can slowly press down and the arms raise up but come down with such authority. Perfect for typing out angry comments online about how crap Superman Legacy is gonna be. Now, I bet you're thinking, surely the gimmick screws up the articulation, right? Actually, not too much. Head rotates perfectly on a swivel. Arms rotate 180 degrees, no problem. No waist pivot though. Oh. Legs go 90 out and in, and you even got knees. I know that sounds silly to get excited about, but it does give him much more posability than a lot of other figures of the time. So you can have him looking decently dramatic at times. Or you can use his posability in tandem with the gimmick for some black power! So that was Super Powers Collection Darkseid. An absolutely stellar figure for the time, and honestly, I like it so much I might even get some of the other ones. It's very well articulated for the time, it has a gimmick that doesn't get in the way of the figure, and it's just super charming. So why did the line last for such a short amount of time? Well, for what I gather, for one, there was a cartoon made to tie into the toys with Super Friends, the legendary Super Powers show, and the Super Powers team Galactic Guardians, part of the Super Friends show by Hanna-Barbera. They're not awful shows, but when you consider in 1985 alone, there was Transformers, Voltron, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Robotech, and even GoBots! It's easy to see how the show would get lost in the shuffle, and even their toy line got lost in the crowd. I mean, Darkseid in that show alone was a massive downgrade despite being voiced by the legendary Frank Welker. His whole motivation in the show was wanting to marry Wonder Woman.
I alone can save you from Brainiac, if you are willing to be my bride.
Holy proposals!
Which, you know, makes him the most relatable character in comics history, but not quite what I think Jack Kirby had in mind. Not helping matters was the 80s for superheroes wasn't quite the same market. There weren't a lot of big-name movies yet outside of the Superman movies, and that was fading fast. And while there were superhero shows in the 80s, they tend to get pretty forgotten. It wasn't until the early 90s you started to see a big boom in superhero media and comic sales to brain-hemorrhaging numbers. And the sad thing is apparently during the second and third wave, toy retailers were nervous about buying them due to the competition, and Kenner opted to pull the plug before the final numbers of Wave 2 even came in. So yeah, a bit of a sad fate. But they have a cult following now, with plenty of homages and even some recreations of the original toy, with some scale-ups and some scale-downs by Gentle Giant, and unarticulated statues by Kotobukiya. I love Kotobukiya, gotta say, making an unarticulated scale-up of a figure with pretty simple articulation does feel a bit insulting. I mean, how's he supposed to pull off this pose of the week? But what about you? What do you think of the Super Powers collection, or superhero toys in general? Do you have any favorites? Let me know in the comments, and please subscribe.